What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metro Fan 12 coming to you with another video game review. And this time I'm reviewing the game Tecmo World Wrestling, which was released on the NES by Tecmo. And this is one of three non-licensed wrestling games, the other two being Pro Wrestling by Nintendo and Tag Team Wrestling by Data East. Now, this is the only wrestling game on the NES that has a commentator in it, but what he says is in text box only, and this game also has a story mode, even though it's like bare bones and all that. Now, there's the one-player mode and two-player mode, but like the main difference is that the two-player mode pretty much has a momentum meter where the players pretty much mash the A button as quick as possible in order to get an advantage over their opponent and stuff. Now, the one thing I quickly noticed when I saw the title screen is that the music that was playing, well, pretty much the first half of it reminds me of Easy Lover by Phil Collins and one guy that was a member of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Reason I even bring that up is that the second stage music from Double Dragon 2, The Revenge on NES, people say that one resembles that song, but I say the title screen to Tecmo World Wrestling is more similar than that second stage music from Double Dragon 2. Now, there's you have different playable wrestlers to go through. You play as, you know what I'm saying, Akira Dragon, El Tigre, Pat Gordon, Rex Beat, Jackie Lee, Boris Chestnut, Mark Rose, Julio Falcon, Randy Gomez, and Dr. Guido. And it's pretty much a total of 10 wrestlers overall you can use in the one-player mode and two-player mode. Um, in the one-player mode, pretty much the goal is to go play and defeat the other nine playable wrestlers and one non-playable wrestler to become Tecmo World Wrestling Champion. And the last guy that you have to face, that's the non-playable character, is King Blue, who nickname is the Earl of Doom. You know what I'm saying? You know, like pretty much once you beat him, you pretty much become the TWW World Heavyweight Champion and stuff. And the one thing about like between each matches, after you pick your the wrestler you want to use, they'll ask you if you want to go through the training mode and play that. My recommendation, I would say, my advice would be is to play this training mode, because once you like go through it and like try to complete it within the time limit, your wrestling nose becomes stronger. If you tap the button as quickly as possible, that's pretty much the goal of it. You know what I'm saying? While you're going through the training mode, but if you able, but you can get to 7 spears, because that's the limit. If you get like all the 7 spears lit up, you pretty much it'll make your wrestling hold stronger, and you pretty much make it like, pretty much easier for yourself. You know what I'm saying, and all that. And like once you defeat your opponent, they'll ask you again to go through the training mode. I'll say again, say go to the training mode after each subsequent win. Of course, the only time you won't do that is once you beat the Blue King and stuff. And one thing that you would notice playing Tecmo World Wrestling rather, is that the wrestlers pretty much resemble different wrestlers and all that. The legendary ones like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Randy, Harley Race rather, and Big Bad Vader and stuff like that. They're not like the only ones, but but all of them. But the point is, all of them resemble a particular legendary wrestler and all that. You know what I'm saying? Now the graphics and design of Tecmo World Wrestling is decent, but the thing about it, it hasn't like aged really well when you compare it to other Tecmo games that came out on the NES, like the Ninja Gaiden trilogy and stuff. Now the controls are good too. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because the wrestlers in the game pretty much have 20 different wrestling holds that they can use, which include submission moves like the sharpshooters, suplexes, body slams, Irish whips, clotheslines, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I would say this particular game has more wrestling holds than any other wrestling games that came out on the NES, which would include the four WWF wrestling games that came out on the NES. But then again, the three of the WWF wrestling games were made by LJN. But so you know so you know what the deal with that those games are. They pretty much suck. You know what I'm saying? Now the soundtrack is decent, but it's not as good as other games made by Tecmo, like the Ninja Gaiden trilogy, Tecmo Ball, and Tecmo Basketball. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can honestly say that even with the flaws that Tecmo World Wrestling has, it's pretty much still ended up being the best wrestling game on the NES. I would think I think that it didn't sell as well because people were playing other Tecmo games like Tecmo Bowl, Ninja Gaiden, Tecmo NBA basketball, and all that. People was buying those Tecmo games. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it came to NES, you know what I'm saying. Now, was I recommend it? I'll say yes to people who had an NES back in the day, but never had a chance to play it, or retro gamers and all that. As far as a score, I would definitely give Tecmo World Wrestling a 7 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Mainly, mainly because of the graphics, you know, and the music didn't age well and all that. When you compare it to other games that were made by Tecmo that were released on the NES, at least, you know what I'm saying. So with that being said, if you like Tecmo World Wrestling, don't hesitate to mention it in the comments section. If you think it's better than the other wrestling games on the NES, you can mention that also. With that being said, if you like this video, don't hesitate to thumbs it up, and don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy, Metro Fan 12, signing off.